Hi guys, welcome back to Jamie's Camper. So today I am looking at fitting a Eberspacher, don't know if that's how you say it, that's how I say it, D2 Airtronic diesel fueled night heater, or just heater. So it was a pain in the backside, but I had to cut a hole right through basically the laminate floor, the underlay and the sprinter floor, original floor, plus another thing of underlay, and then the metal. So I've had to buy online an adapter, because there's probably, I'd say, 1.5 inches that I need to get down through the floors. Normally, or not normally, but a lot of guys will mount these underneath the passenger seat, but that's where I'm keeping my batteries for now. So that was out of the question, and they mount them straight down to the actual steel van floor, but I put my floor down before the installation, before I bought the thing. So I'll show you. You can buy the adapter online. There's a guy on eBay in the UK that makes them specifically for different models. Just tell him the model. I think the one I've got's a generic kind of one, because it's got other holes I'm not going to need, but that's fine anyway. So I'll show you where I'm mounting it first, which is, that's where the seats are in the corner there. Normally the seats are here. Taking the seats off, they're just sat behind me there. So the heater is here. I'll have a good look here. So that's the heater. What I've done is, because it's not installed, all I've done is cut the hole in and put this mounting plate in, which I'll try and get out if I can to show you what it looks like. So this little heater is gonna, I think I've got it the wrong way around actually, it should be turned around, because it's gonna vent through this, through here. I'm gonna cut a hole there. You've got a nozzle, so I'll join a wee bit of pipe, put the nozzle, directional nozzle, and that'll push the air around different directions. So I'll just take it out, because it's just sat in just to keep any rodents or stuff out of the holes from jumping up inside. So that's the plate there. I'll try and get it out if I can, because I made a real snug cut when I did this. Ooh, let me see if I've got something to pull it out with quickly. Just don't watch this, I'm just using, actually I'll use this instead. Let's have a look, see if I can get it out without breaking it or scoring anything. Right, it's coming. So basically it's a flat plate, sits nice and flat, and then there's a circular base to it, and that vents straight outside. Now the hole I had to cut was absolutely enormous, a little bit daunting cutting a hole that size, but I just had to do it. There was no getting away from it. Come on, it's coming. Like I say, it's a really snug fit. Right, I should get it now. There we go. So I'll show you the massive hole. Huge. What I did was I started off with a circular cutting saw the size of that hole. Just to get through the wood and then down through the ply. God, it was tough going, I'll tell you. And then I used another drill and a grinder and a jigsaw from underneath. Basically took a jigsaw, went underneath. I'd already drilled holes like this all the way around, and then I just put the jigsaw in and mount it, and then just joined the dots basically to make this hole. So this is the mounting plate. I think it cost me, I think it was about 20 quid. Like I say, fits all different sizes of Eberspacher and Webasto. I think the guy does as well. You'd have to look. If I can find a link for him, I'll put it up, but I might not be able to. So that's the plate there. Basically, it's just to keep the heat from the exhaust away from any, because obviously I've got a wooden floor. Just to keep because you'll have an intake and an outlet through these holes where my fingers are. It's just to keep the heat away from any pipes that I may need to run past it, or basically the wooden floor, because the wooden floor is going to get hot, and I'm sure the laminate wouldn't catch fire, but I don't want to take that chance. So that'll be in here. I'll put it back in. It is a really tight fit, but I wanted it a tight fit because once I silicone it and everything, it should sit nice. There it is, nice and flat on the floor. Like I say, a lot of people just go straight to the van floor underneath the passenger bit like this in the front. Couldn't do that. That's where all my electrics and battery are, because I'm taking power from the van battery. So that's that. And then obviously I've got my D2 here, give you a quick look at this. Now I've got all the wiring and stuff for it. Had to wire it up myself. God, it was a challenge and a half, but managed to do it. Everything will read backwards because of the camera, but you'll be able to see there. It says D2 somewhere if the light doesn't hit it. Yeah. So 12 volt, 2.2 kilowatts. Yeah, I'm really pleased with that. Got off my mate Mark. So that's going to be sat in here. Basically, if you see the holes on the bottom of it, they line up perfectly. So you've got your four, let me just put it down and show you. You've got 4 mounting holes. That basically just takes little nuts, and that gets screwed down through the plate here. That would be the feed for the diesel, and then you've got an input and an output. I don't know which one's which at the moment. And then obviously your wiring loom, which gets plugged into your main loom. So I'll just put that back in the hole. Really, I just don't want a draft coming up through the van, or any little beasties trying to crawl through. Hang on. Yeah, see now there's a certain way, because of the fuel pipe. I think I put the plate in the wrong way again. Because of the fuel pipe, it's got to be mounted in a certain way so you're not pushing air back through the seat. It's actually getting pushed through. Let me just get it in there. Why isn't it going in? Ah, there we go. Right, so that's it back in. That's fine. Now I'll show you the wiring loom. Started this through the Christmas period there. A lot of stuff. Basically had to connect all this up. You have to actually make these things. So what you're doing here is you're putting wires in to these little bitties, and then you're pushing them through the back, and then you're closing these up pincers. So basically you've got to strip the wire, put on the metal end connections, push them in the right sequence, because this one joins, or this one joins into that one. So I had to get all the wiring correct, so when you push that one in there, it fits. Like the brown wires go to the brown, and the red and yellow go to red and yellow, and all that. Doesn't seem very tricky, but trying to concentrate and do it without making a mistake is. There's instructions, and the instructions are pretty good and clear. But in hindsight, I probably, instead of buying the do-it-yourself version, I probably could have got a ready wired loom on eBay, which would have been a lot easier. But I've kind of done it now anyway, so I'm not that fussed about it. This is the little fuel pulse pump, 12 volt, 1 to 4 kilowatts. That mounts underneath the van. I was gonna take a feed off my diesel tank. Now there is an auxiliary pot in the fuel pump, but you need, because I dropped the tank and connected everything, and then suddenly realised, well, it's not actually an open pot. You've got to remove the fuel sender unit, add a pipe and drop it down into the tank so it can suck diesel. Then you have to drill a hole up and drill a hole in round like the bend of the auxiliary tap for it to start sucking diesel out, and I just thought, too much hassle. I've got a little, you've seen it before, it's a little blue square 15 litre diesel tank. I'm going to mount that in the very back of the wagon. And the other thing is, well, I'm going to mount it in the back but run the pipes underneath to come up to the front here. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a long line from the back to here, but it should be fine. Anyway, I'll do another update when I get kind of moving and get things a little bit more in place. Obviously the wiring's the next job. Gonna have to go through the bulkhead here into the front over there, so I can tap into the leisure battery to run the feed for this pump. But other than that, it's drilling the hole was probably the hardest bit. I mean, that was an absolute nightmare, but I got it in the end, thanks to a couple of guys lent me some of their tools as well, so managed to get it. Alright guys, hope everyone's well. See you in the next one.